got to shoot this bit, Margaret. You've got to shoot it.
So welcome to the Whiteout podcast. This is our special episode this week, Rob, where I'm completely outside of my comfort zone. This special episode of the Whiteout podcast is all about the Alpine Skiing World Championships that took place in February in Courchevel and Meribel.
Yeah, that's right, Dom. I mean, I just enjoy watching the ski racing. For me, it's something that I like doing through the winter. It's not, I wouldn't call myself the expert on the subject. I really enjoy it. And the world champs in Courchevel and Meribel, it was a great spectacle. The weather was fantastic. Snow conditions were good for ski racing, that's for sure. And, it just brought me back to a couple of the athletes that competed in the world champs and won medals that we interviewed way back in the autumn. Henrik Kristoffersen and Ragnhild Mowinckel, both from Norway. So I thought,
they were great interviews, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. They were really good.
Still racing on YouTube. I was looking at the YouTube stats and still racing on YouTube. So obviously very popular. Yeah, great couple of interviews. All I know is my plumber wants to be on the GB race scheme.
Oh, yeah?
The only thing is, one, he's not British, he's Polish. Two, he's almost 50. But on the plus side, this bloke can seriously ski. I was looking at some of his stats and I was looking at some of the photos of him in his full lycra. This guy really has got all the gear and he actually does seem to have some idea, which was quite surprising to me. But so maybe it's not completely out of the question.
Oh, blimey, Dom. I mean, that is how to chuck a curveball at me. I mean, I never thought I would start a podcast talking a bit about, the most recent Alpine World Championships and then start talking about your plumber. But why not? I mean, if he sounds like a great character, and at 50 years old, go for it. I mean, it reminds me though of a story that I spotted last week about a 64-year-old Mexican prince who has just retired from world champion. He entered the world championships at 64 years old. It was his 20th world championship ski race.
No way.
He would never be able to enter a World Cup race because you wouldn't qualify. But with world champs, he enters as Mexico, right? So he's entitled to enter as a country. And there he was, Prince von Hohenlohe, I think his name is.
Well, maybe if he's just retired, I'll get Mario to go and see if he can be the new racer for Mexico.
Why not? Because at 50, that's young, isn't it? Compared to
he's a spring chicken.
He is. Go for it.
Well, so first up, let's quickly have a catch up around some of the obvious wins and some of the bolt out the blues, Rob.
Yeah, I mean, I think the event got off to a bit of a slow start. It often does. The Alpine combined event, which is a Super G race and a slalom on the same day. It's a bit of a non-starter in some ways, I think, but good warm up. Nice to see local skier Alexi Pinturel win the gold, because he struggled a bit this winter. And, he's just proving himself pretty much the best all-rounder out there. And then Italian Federica Brignoni won the gold in the women. So, it was good. And we saw Britain's Owen Winter in a respectable 17th place. Ed Gigonnet as well, 22nd, which is, if you look at it, it's technically the last place. But at least he actually competed in 2 runs and completed them, which is, it can't be said for all the skiers. And there's a bit of controversy around that in that competition. Some skiers basically doing just one run as a practice and then abandoning the second one. So I think the International Ski Federation probably have to look at that a little bit. But after that, we saw the Super G race and the first of Michaela Schifrin managing a silver medal in that, just behind Italy's Marta Bassino. So a good start.
Yeah, not bad at all. And then you were telling me about the shock result in the men's Super G that with Canada's James Crawford winning. He's never won a World Cup event before, has he? So I love it when stuff like that happens and comes in and mixes stuff up a little bit.
Yeah, that was really nice to see. And it just sort of keeps everything fresh, doesn't it, when something like that happens? I mean, the favourites, totally. Alexander Motkilde from Norway, everyone that thought he was probably going to win, and Marco Odermatt of Switzerland possibly winning as well. They managed second and fourth place respectively, with Pinturo nabbing the silver. But yeah, to see James Crawford in there, pretty cool.
It's amazing, isn't it? I love all that, and it does keep people's interest up, doesn't it? Another shock result in the women's downhill was Switzerland's Jasmine Fleury win gold. Again, never having won a downhill race in the World Cup before. I think she's had a second before and did win a Super G in 2017, but at 29 years of age, that must have felt amazing, mustn't it?
Yeah, and I mean, she looked so happy, obviously, and it is great for the sport to see results like that as well. Then we had the team parallels, which is great fun to watch. I really enjoy watching that. It's a shame we didn't have a Great Britain team in there this year, but USA, they won the event. That was awesome to watch. They beat Norway in the final. Canada beat Austria to win the bronze, pushing Austria into fourth. I think they were very happy about that.
I'm sure.
Well, it's maybe worth mentioning at this point that Austria was on its way at that point to their worst result in a World Champs since 1987. when it took place in Crans-Montana in Switzerland. So not a great thing for them, really.
No, not at all. I mean, those parallel events are a lot of fun, but real race pundits like me, I mean, they're not for the real purists, are but they are super fun to watch, aren't they? I must admit, I do enjoy them.
You're right. They're not for the purist, I guess. And some people go, whatever. Because when you look at the course, it's not technical like the GS or the slalom, but it kind of creates that atmosphere. And then we had the individual parallel. So that was a T. We then had the individual parallel races. Charlie Raposo from Great Britain entered that competition. Unfortunately, didn't finish his run in qualification, which is a shame. But Germany's Alexander Schmidt managed to complete all of his heats to win the gold, which is a big win for him.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a specialist in that area, I must say. But yeah, it's a discipline that definitely opens up opportunities for kind of skiers that don't always feature in the top 5 or 10 in the usual slalom or GS World Cup formats. So that's quite nice as well. It's not the usual suspects coming along and winning that. And Maria Therese Tveberg, or Tiviberg, I think you should say. Yeah, Tiviberg of Norway took the women's gold medal. Another skier that has never even had a top 3 in World Cup competitions. And Switzerland's Wendy Holder coming in second, which seems to be her favourite position generally. I don't know how many, she must have come second hundreds of times. I'm exaggerating.
And of course the women's GS, obviously Schifrin won that in style as you come to expect. She made that look super easy, didn't she? And adding another medal to the World Championship tally of 14, basically a record, unless you include Crystal Kranz back in the 1930s, which obviously I didn't know that until you told me, Rob. Obviously very different times in the 30s, that's for sure.
Well, I only know about that because I determined to look at when the last time someone tallied that many medals, and it's an amazing stat. And I could pull out a bunch of other stats, really. But just to say to her critics, bizarrely, she actually has some critics still, I think. She's up there with at least the very, very best ever. I think it's time to silence those crackpot people that somehow think she isn't, And I just enjoy watching Michaela ski. She just, like you said, makes it look so easy as well.
Yeah, amazing.
Federica Bergroni featuring again, got a well-deserved, if slightly unexpected, silver in that race, and Norway's Ragnhild Mowinckel a bronze. So maybe it's a good time to listen to that interview I did with her back in the autumn before the Solden Alpine World Cup races.
Yeah, let's take a listen now.
I'm here with Ragnhild Mowinckel, a Norwegian team skier. Hi Ragnhild, how are you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you. How are you?
I'm very well, I'm great. Really excited to be here in Solden, first World Cup of the year. And last season, right, you basically had like your best season ever, right?
Yeah, it's true. It's been a lot of fun, and for sure it's cool coming back from injury, knowing that you can do better than what you did before. That was also a huge goal to see that I could do it. But it ended up being my best season ever in terms of like the points and how I ended. So I'm super excited about it.
And, do you think you can improve on that this season? You've just turned 30 years old, right? Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Obviously, that's a great age to actually really sort of consolidate things and probably have your best kind of career chances, right?
I hope so. For sure, it's as long as you do the sport, I feel like you always want to improve. You always want to do better, and for sure, ending up what I did, for sure, the expectations are higher, also the pressure. But I think that nobody compares to the expectations and pressure I have on myself. But for me, it's always about the process of getting there, and then we count the results after. So for sure, it's more about having a good pre-season, building up. This season I focused a bit more on my fundament of skiing, using a bit longer time, kind of not peaking because you can't really peak in Alpine that way, but it's more like trying to make me a bit more sturdy when the season comes, and hopefully that also affects that I still have a good season towards the middle and the end of it also.
Okay, and you're a multi-discipline Alpine ski racer. What is your favorite discipline and why? Why is it your favorite?
Well, at the moment, you got to say for sure Super G and also downhill has been fun. I think I still have 3 disciplines that I really, really think is fun, and otherwise I would quit one of them. But I do think it's important to have more, because for my sake, it really helps the other disciplines, whatever I ski. But for sure, the fundament of it all would be GS. But I think Super G is probably one of my strongest disciplines. But also speed side.
I mean, you were in second place last season in Cromontana and the Super G. First, sorry, the Super G. Second in the downhill.
Yes, or no, fifth or something.
Oh, was it?
That was in Cromontana. I was second. Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Sorry, I thought you said Courchevel. Sorry.
No, Cromontana second in the downhill. First in the Super G.
Not in Cromontana.
No, right.
No, it's like
I know what you're. What's your favourite track for Super G or downhill? I mean, that one's pretty tough, right?
Yeah, but like for sure, when you have success and that really helps how you look at things. But really, one of my favorite tracks is actually Cortina, and I've never really performed there. So it's more that I love the track, I love the scenery, I love. It's always been one of the races that I did started like with the earliest, so it's where I feel most comfortable also, and it's just a great track.
So looking ahead to 2027, then, I mean, it's a long way off, isn't it?
Very long way off. So.
But are you thinking about that?
No, not really. No. I did say last season that this in China was my last Olympics, so at least then I'm done by then.
Right. Okay. Where do you ski in Norway? Do you ski for yourself at all, or do you go off with friends or family and ski in Norway?
Not really. I guess that's still like work related, and I think that's going to change a bit once I'm done with the active part of ski racing. But for sure, it's more. I'd rather, I don't know, go snowboarding or go cross country when I'm back, just to get a different mindset and a different type that you get to experience skiing from a different side.
And let's mention Helly Hansen, working with them this season. What's your favourite bit of clothing? What do you like? Because what excites you when it comes to kit or clothing?
We just got we got a couple of garments or pieces early, and that was fine. But yesterday we unraveled most of it, and I said as I was putting on the long duvet jacket, I'm like, this is what I'm living in the rest of the season. This is my piece. So I guess you'll see me mostly in that one, unless it's 20 degrees outside.
It's like Christmas coming early, basically.
Yeah, absolutely.
That sounds
and
great.
They have a lot of good pieces, it's going to be amazing.
Okay, looking forward to seeing you race on Saturday.
Yes.
Here in Solden.
Yes.
Good luck.
Thank you.
And hope you do really well. Maybe even get a podium. That would be great, right?
Try my best.
Thanks, Ragnhild.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So great interview, that, Rob. She's a great character, isn't she? Really is a great ambassador for the sport, isn't she?
Yeah, totally. I mean, it was great to be talking to her, and even better, sort of knowing what a great result she's just achieved. It was a bit disappointing for GB's Alex Tilley, who qualified for the second run, and then following some controversy over the timing device. I don't know what happened there. Basically, one of the skier before crashed, and then she came through and the clock wasn't working properly. But anyway, in the end, she was in 34th place. And remember, in this format, in the World Championship, 60 skiers go through to the second run, not like 30 in the World Cup. But unfortunately, Alex failed to complete her second run, which was a real shame. But, those things happen. And she had a good first run.
And then in the men's race, that was kind of predictable with Marco Odermatt winning gold for Switzerland. So he put his country firmly at the top of the medal table there. Fellow Loic Maillard getting silver, and the Austrian Marco Schwarz getting bronze. So although he was in the lead after the first run, he'll be disappointed with that, I'm sure. And then, of course, Definitely. Charlie Raposo, he managed a fabulous 17th place. So he took the lead on his second run and had a bit of time in the leader's chair. You can see he was absolutely loving that. You know what Raposo's like. He loves all that.
He does. He's a good showman. Yeah.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, that was another interview we did as well with Charlie Raposo, wasn't it?
It was indeed. Yeah.
What about
great
that?
interview.
So, he had a great result, which definitely going to boost his confidence levels. He did 16th place on the World Cup once last year, actually, that was, but still 17th at the World Champs. So level up shows that he can really perform at the best levels,
Yeah, it's brilliant to see that. And you could see the excitement on his face, like you say. And I honestly can't remember another British male giant slalom skier, at least, that has finished that high up in a World Championship or Olympic event or a World Cup event. Certainly not in the last 50 years. I mean, I've been trying to find that information out, and I've failed. So if anyone knows of any other skier that's better Charlie Raposo's result just now in the World Championships, it would be really good to hear from them, because I cannot find anyone that has.
Somebody out there's going to come and tell us, aren't they?
Probably. No. I mean, maybe there is, but yeah, giant slalom, 17th place, world champs.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah. And then there's the slalom, Rob. What went on there?
Yeah, it's always my favourite event, and this year it just didn't let us down, did it? Really, it was a great race.
Yeah.
Tight women's race. Another shock result though, with Canada's Laurence Saint-Germain taking the gold medal ahead of Michaela Schifrin, and her previous best in any World Cup or World Champs slalom was 6th place.
Wow.
So not expected.
No,
but nice.
It's fantastic, isn't it? Again, like the shock, we all like the shock results. And Great Britain's Charlie Guest just missed out on the top 30, coming 31st. 22-year-old Victoria Parler with her 36th place, having only ever started one World Cup race before and didn't finish. A really great result and shows promise for the future, which is great.
Definitely.
And I also saw that despite qualifying for the second run, Reese Bell, daughter of our very own homebred Martin Bell, didn't finish her second run, and Alex Tilley didn't make her first run either.
Yeah. No, it's a shame. I mean, these athletes, they train so hard for these races, and it must be so tough when things don't go your way like that. But, it is what happens in sport, and especially skiing. It's fine margins.
Yeah.
The men's race on the final day of the championships, final race of the championships, it saw over 100 skiers compete for 3 medals, of course. I mean, Britain's Dave Riding, he was definitely one of the medal contenders. Yeah. I wouldn't say a medal favourite, but medal contenders, I'd say. I mean, he finished a solid, if sort of not a bit disappointing for his standards, 13th place. It's very respectable.
Oh, totally, I'm sure he, like the rest of us, he's now got higher expectations, hasn't he? And it must be very tough.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then Billy Major's 28th place was a decent result for him. That's pretty good progress.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's a good result. And I think Laurie Taylor close behind on 33rd place. It's good team effort, isn't it? And Ed Gigonnet, 21-year-old, he just didn't manage to finish his second run, but he got into that qualification setup for it in that sort of top 50 anyway, at least. Yeah. So, it's good to see other skiers and new, younger skiers coming through. But I think we do need to mention the winner, right? Yeah. First of all, let's just mention AJ Guinness of Greece. I mean, Greece, let's just say that again.
Obvious ski nation.
Winning the country's first ever alpine skiing medal, a silver medal. I mean, how incredible is that?
Absolutely amazing. I love it.
Born in Greece. He did grow up in America. Let's put that into context.
Yeah.
But, racing for Greece with whatever backing he has for that, to win a silver medal at the World Championships for any ski racer is a huge achievement. But for someone racing for Greece is obviously... It was great to see, and you could just see how happy he was as well. So, Alex Vinazza from Italy got the bronze, and he was super chuffed with that. And he's one of those skiers that he kind of does really well, or he crashes, and under the pressure pot of the World Championships in the position he was in, I think he'll take a lot from getting that bronze medal.
Sounds a bit like my life, that, Rob.
was that win or crash?
Yeah, I either win or I crash. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, as long as you win more than you crash, you're notching up the points,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So it's a fine strategy to have, I think, and I think it proves it in skiing. As long as you just win a bit more than you crash, you're doing okay. But after the first run, Norway's Henrik Kristoffersen, he had a bit of a shocker for his standards, lying in 16th place. Yeah. And I think even the most experienced pundits wouldn't have predicted what happened next. You could never write him off for a medal, of course, even from back there. But to win it, his second run was absolutely epic. So well done, Henrik. And of course, we also caught up with him at the start of the season. So should we hear from him?
He's got a bit of his reputation for being a tricky one, hasn't he? Did he play that out when you met up with him?
No, to be honest, I found him to be a really, really nice guy when I interviewed him, and very, very enthusiastic about the interview and what he wanted to talk about. So great. I didn't see that side of him at all. I just saw a very, very positive person. Maybe it was my smile.
Your positive vibe. Right, well, let's have a little listen to that interview now.
I'm here in Solden with the legendary Henrik Kristoffersen. Hi, Henrik. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah, good. Great to see you here. So, this winter, are you going to do one better than last winter in the overall standings? Do you think?
That's hard to say. The plan has changed a lot with it being more speed races than what it's been previously. which I think is not anything I should comment very much on, but I still believe that the biggest difference between two of the disciplines is between slalom and giant slalom.
Right.
Super G and downhill is pretty equal, and when they have a lot more and I feel like it's easier to go from GS to Super G than from GS to slalom.
Okay.
Because there's a bigger difference.
A technical difference.
It's a bigger technical difference.
Sure. Okay.
But I don't think about the overall now. The important thing is to think about ski good, ski fast, and then win as many races as possible, because that's what you get judged on in the end. It's how many World Cup races you won.
And do you always stand there at the top thinking at the beginning of the race that you want to win every race? Because when I see you ski, you know, if you don't win, you don't look very happy about it.
I've always said that if I do the 2 best runs of my life and I get 5th, that's okay.
Okay.
I've done the best. I've done what I can, and that's okay. But at the moment, the 2 best runs of my life, I'm not going to be 5th. That's for sure. So, of course, perfect doesn't exist. So you can always improve and always do better. And that's also maybe then sometimes when you don't do good and it means so much to you, then you show a bit of emotions. And what is sports without emotions?
And do you think, I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of people like watching you ski, because you do show your emotions and you don't hold back on that. But do you feel that helps you, or does it not help you?
I don't know if it helps me or not, but it's who I am. It's who I've always been, and skiing has been my entire life until this point. I haven't been good at a lot of other things than skiing in my life. I haven't focused on a lot of other things than skiing in my life, except for my family. And yeah, when it means this much to you, then that's just who I am.
And how are the new skis?
Not too shabby. No, it's really good. I think it's working really great.
Okay.
The attention to detail, and first of all, Van der Red Bull is a racing company. Yes, they sell skis, but firstly, they're a racing company. Compared to a lot of other companies, which has to have a big amount of income, and that's the biggest focus, to earn money. Van der Red Bull, the biggest focus is to win races and to have the best equipment possible. And then that makes my job easier.
Right. You probably won't answer this question, but I'll see. When you're skiing on the skis, do you compare them to anything else that you've skied on before? Would you say that they are kind of similar to Atomic, maybe? or do they just totally feel different?
I've never skied on that before, but
yeah, right.
They're just really good at the moment.
Okay,
that's for sure. So I think the equipment is working really great, and then I just have to do my things. But in sports in general, and also in alpine skiing, and even if you do good in training and things are working nicely, you never have any guarantee that you will succeed. So we still got to do the work and perform on race days, and that's how it is.
Okay. You're talking to a predominantly UK audience here. So, last winter we watched our famous skier David Riding winning in Kitzbühel, of course. And the scenes were really nice to see because, along with a few other guys, you especially were one of the first people to congratulate him on the win there.
Yeah.
And that was great. How do you feel what does that make you feel when you see someone from a country like UK, we get told all the time that we can't ski, and yet someone wins a World Cup race.
I think it's great for the sport. I think diversity in the people who are skiing is great, and when you have Dave there, who I've known for so many years, and I've skied so much with Dave and trained a lot with Dave, I think it was a great thing. If I didn't win, I think it was great that Dave won. Of course, I always want to win. But being on the podium together with Dave in his first win was a big deal for sure. Not, of course, for him the biggest deal, but it was also a big thing for me as well to be there on the podium with him because we spent a bit of time together on the slopes together. So and he's a great guy. So. That was really cool.
I think it's the happiest I've seen you when you're not winning, Henrik.
Yeah, probably. That's probably actually true. That's probably the happiest I've been when not winning myself. I did also come from 24th place or something to 3rd, so that was a big thing as well.
Yeah, of course.
But it's probably the happiest I've been for another athlete winning when it wasn't myself. That's 100%.
Well,
sure.
that's nice to know.
Yeah.
And looking ahead, Henrik, I mean, this season, fine. What about, are you looking ahead to the next Winter Olympics in Cortina, or do you just think that's not something that you feel at the moment?
That's not something to focus on at the moment. And firstly, the World Cup in Alpine skiing is so big that we would survive even without any championships. We would survive without the Olympics. And that's, in the end, yes, I know a lot of countries and probably England, UK, of course, who is not that famous for skiing.
Yeah, it's important to us,
I guess that I totally understand that the Olympics are a big thing. And of course, I have Olympic medals. I should have had more than I have, but I have only myself to blame. But
don't be too hard on yourself, Henrik.
Yeah, but still, I should have had at least one goal and a couple more medals. But that's how it is. We are humans. We all make mistakes, and I have only myself to blame. But the important thing is to think about the next race, the next possibility to win a race. And I won everything except the Big Globe and Olympic gold. I've won World Cup races pretty much all over the world, and I won small globes. I won World Championships. The coolest thing is to win the race at the highest level. If that's the World Champs or a World Cup race, doesn't really matter that much. Maybe after your career when you sum up the medals or something. But at the moment, the coolest thing is to actually the feeling of winning a race at the highest level. That's the best thing. And for sure for Dave with winning in Kitzbühel, I wouldn't consider that any less than winning a World Championship gold in Meribel.
Yeah.
Maybe bigger, to be honest. Because Kitzbühel with the venue, with only the name of Kitzbühel there, Austria, everything. And possibly the most difficult hill you can win a slalom on. That's a huge thing to do.
And you spend a lot of time in Austria anyway.
I live in Austria.
Yeah, right. Yeah. And so where's your local hill? Where do you like to go skiing if you're not training? I mean, have you got a particular spot you go to? Not that you probably have a lot of time to ski for yourself.
So I've skied a lot in... so basically when I ski in the winter, I train. If I don't train, I take a day off. If it comes a lot of powder and stuff, I take a day off instead because it's all about energy and trying to maximize the time you train.
So you don't ski the powder, you just take a day off and rest?
Maybe after the season is done, then I can do it, but during the season, no. But of course, around Salzburg, go a lot to Hinterreit, close to Marialm, Saalfelden, and then Reiteralm is also pretty good.
One more question, Henrik. What's your favourite bit of kit? You've just got all this Helly Hansen kit now, and it's a great partnership with Helly. What's your favourite bit of kit that you wear on the slope? So are you a kit person? Do you get into the whole kit side of things? Or is it
on the clothes?
Yeah.
Or on everything else?
Well, no, let's say on the clothes. Like the hardware, I'm sure you get into the skis, of course.
I haven't gotten my clothes yet. I get them today. I get them now after
It's going to be Christmas
It's going to be Christmas after this. I have way too much stuff here though, but...
Okay, you can tell me later what your favourite item is then. When you win on Saturday.
Yeah.
Let me know.
Probably the speed suit because that's what you're racing. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Yep. Perfect.
Cheers, Henrik. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah, totally, Rob. That's sounding great. I mean, he seemed like a really good bloke.
It was a good fun interview, and his manager is behind me, sort of doing the cut sign. You know when people do that with their hands, cut.
Come on.
And I was like, well, I looked at Henrik, and he wasn't having any of that. He just wanted to keep on talking.
Wow.
So that was nice. Yeah, that was nice.
I really rated that.
Well, that was the end of the World Champs, that slalom race. But of course, in the end, Switzerland topped the medal table with Norway and the USA just behind them in second and third place. Very disappointing 8th place for Austria, though. Just one above Greece. So they will definitely be looking at that. And I know, the media, I think the media attention on the ski races has been huge in Austria. Yeah. But I think it's fair to say that if the table was organized slightly differently by the amount of medals, instead of they do it gold, silver, bronze. So if you've won more golds, you go up the table.
Sure.
But if you did it on the amount of medals in total, they would have actually been joint second with Switzerland.
Wow.
And
Okay.
Norway would have topped it. So when you look at it like that, you know, the fine margins of not winning a race but coming second or third, actually Austria almost got more medals than anybody else. It puts a different perspective on it, doesn't it? But they won't see it that way. They didn't win races, and that's what they're there to do.
Well, I've got to say, Rob, that whilst I might not be the keenest ski racing follower, you've got me pretty excited. So I hope we've excited some of our listeners as well.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's been a good winter so far, and we've still got a bit of racing left to go. This weekend, Crans-Montana, Women's Downhill and Super G. Of course, towards the end of the season, we've got the World Cup finals in Andorra, right, this year. I hope I'm not making a mistake there. Pretty sure it's in Andorra in March. So that'll be exciting to watch as well.
Very cool.
Not over.
Good stuff. Well, it's been good to catch up today. I think that's a really cool special episode that we've done on the podcast this week. And next week, will, of course, we be back with our regular episode where we're doing resorts beginning with G.
Oh, G. Oh, really? Galtor. Oh, yeah. I was going to say Godalming, but that's not a ski resort, is it? I don't know what. I just had Godalming came in my head. I mean, Surrey, it's in the Surrey Hills area, isn't it? So I suppose when it snows, you've got Box Hill up the road. Could be a ski resort.
Who else begins with G?
It really got me.
Le Grave,
Le Grave, yes.
I'm beating you here, Rob. I'm already winning.
Gressenay.
Grindelwald.
Oh, and Grindelwald, obviously.
Gressenay, yes, like you say.
Gressenay.
I mean, that's just such an obvious one.
Well, it is. Yes.
Can't think of any others, so we'll have to choose that before next time we meet.
Gowrie in Georgia.
Of course.
Oh, God. Yeah, Gowrie.
Good luck with that one, Top Trumps.
It depends who you're taking on. If I was taking on Godalming, I reckon I'd do pretty well.
I think now. Yeah, so I get Godalming and you get Gowrie. Yeah, sounds like
let's do it.
Fair trade. Cool. Well, very good to catch up this week, Rob. Speak again next week. Listeners, don't forget to check out the notes and check out all of our previous podcasts, and we'll have some great links there. And we're also featured on YouTube too. So don't forget to check us out on YouTube at In the Snow Magazine. Good to talk, Rob. Adios.
Cheers, Dom. See you later. Bye.
Easy. Bye-bye.
Mais non, talkie-walkie.
I'm pretty sure it's called a walkie-talkie.